More people looking for work these days are noticing an increase in what are known as ghost jobs being posted online, where they're posted, but the jobs themselves don't actually exist. Well, a recent report from the Wall Street Journal says that there's a few reasons why companies are posting job opportunities without actually following through. So here to tell us more about this phenomenon is James Hornick. He is a partner at HireWell. James, thank you so much for being with us today to break down this relatively recent phenomenon. Let me start off by just having you run us through the cliff notes of what is a ghost job.
So one thing I want to make clear is ghost jobs aren't the same as like a fake job. It's very rare that companies are actually posting jobs that don't actually exist, but to job seekers that feels like that because they're just not getting responses. And there's a few reasons why this happens. Like a lot of times it's just, it was a real job, but the posting is outdated. So it was either filled or maybe canceled, but just no one took it down. Sometimes it's a redundant job. Sometimes a company needs to hire or is open to hiring in a few different locations, but they're only going to make one hire. So it might be posted in 5 different markets, but there really is only one person they're looking to bring on board. And the lastly is like sometimes they're future looking. Sometimes companies are posting jobs knowing they have things they need to hire for in 3 months, 6 months, whatnot. And they just haven't gotten around to it yet. So anyone who's applied to something just isn't hearing anything back.
How common are they?
I think it's really intensified, honestly. This is not a new phenomenon. This has always kind of been the case, but one thing that's happened in the last couple of years is there's been a lot of layoffs. A lot of companies have let people go. That includes internal recruiters. So the people who are actually in charge of taking care of these job postings, making sure they're up to date, there's less of those people around. So the people who are left are just overworked. I can say that, I can't put an exact number on it. We work with 400 companies, mostly in Chicago the last couple of years. All the jobs, people we know, they're all real jobs. But like I said, things do go out of date sometimes. And I also think AI is really intensifying the problem that's happening here. So
yeah, we will get to AI in just a minute. But before we do, can you run us through how job seekers can tell the difference between a ghost job posting and a legitimate job posting?
You don't really know until you apply, honestly. Like there's nothing about the job posting itself that's going to say, hey, this is real or fake. You want to make sure you're applying to real companies, though. And that's kind of the thing, is you want to make sure you're avoiding scams. If you're going to a company you've heard of, it's their website, or you go to LinkedIn, they do a pretty good job of it. Like, people aren't posting fake jobs there. That being said, you just never know if it's outdated, if it's redundant, if it's more of a future looking job posting. There's really no way of doing that. I would say from a job seeking perspective, number one is just don't lose hope. People are still landing jobs all the time through applications. It's not just a completely kind of dead function. Second is making sure you're casting a wide net. Like if you're applying to 1 or 2 jobs, it's not going to be enough, especially now. You need to make sure you're really kind of doing your due diligence and finding more places you'd be open to. And lastly is you can't just rely on job postings. You have to reconnect with your network, people you used to work with in the past. Get out, do some networking, connect with people on LinkedIn. Being more proactive is really how people tend to be getting a lot of jobs, especially at tougher companies nowadays.
Good to know that the old-fashioned way of networking hasn't gone out of style. You mentioned AI. This is playing a role, a big one, in today's job hunting world. How so?
So this is pretty crazy. Right now, if you were looking for a new job, you could there's tools out there that you upload your resume. It can apply to 100 jobs and customize your resume for you in seconds. Now, that sounds like an amazing thing for job seekers, but the problem is that everyone's doing it. So if you're on the internal side of things, if you're posting a job that used to get 40 or 50 applicants, now it's getting 400 or 500. Like, these companies that are posting jobs are getting absolutely flooded. And that's part of the reason why people aren't hearing back, is there's not enough time in the day to get back to everyone. And the crazier part, so what companies are also starting to do, is using AI tools of their own to actually screen some of these resumes. So you've got people using AI to create resumes, you're using AI to screen resumes, and you just got bots talking to bots, and that's part of the problem with all this.
It feels like Star Wars and the Clone Wars going on. All the more reason to leverage your own personal networks when approaching a job hunt. James Hornick with HireWell, really great information this morning. We thank you for your time and insight.
Thanks for having me. If you need to hire an internal recruiter, let me know.
Come back sometime soon.